A land of contradictions rises from ancient dust. Mountains pierce clouds, deserts swallow horizons. Thunder comes from beneath, from continents colliding and a world still being born. Beneath endless blue, two unblinking eyes watch from stone cliffs, ancient, patient, ready. For 7,000 years, empires rose here and fell to dust. This is Iran, 636,000 square miles where fire burns eternally, where snow-covered peaks overlook furnace deserts, where forests remember ice ages. It shelters leopards and cheetahs, bears and flamingos, eagles and vipers. Some creatures found here exist nowhere else on Earth. But survival here demands more than strength. It requires adaptation perfected over millennia. The same sun that paints mountains gold can turn valleys into ovens. The same mountains that capture rain create deserts in their shadows. This world has always been unforgiving. That is precisely why it forges life into perfection. This land cannot be conquered, only understood. And to understand it, you must begin where stone meets sky, where the Silk Roads became legends, where poetry is carved into the soul of the earth itself. Enjoying this journey? Please hit the subscribe button. Also, tap the bell icon so you never miss our next adventure with Passport Unfolded. You will not want to miss it. Isfahan, Nesf-e Jahan. Isfahan is half the world. And at its heart lies Naqsh-e Jahan Square, one of Earth's largest public squares, surrounded by architectural masterpieces. The Shah Mosque displays tile work in blues and yellows, creating patterns that shift with light. Its dome reaches 177 feet. Inside, the acoustics are perfect. A whisper at the dome's center echoes throughout the entire structure. Sheikh Lotfollah Mosque sits on the opposite side of the square. It was built for royal women, and its dome shifts color: cream at dawn, pink at noon, gold at dusk. These were not just buildings, they were statements declaring Persian mastery of beauty itself. In 518 BCE, Darius the Great ordered the construction of a city, a ceremonial capital to display Persian might. Persepolis rose over 150 years. Massive stone pillars, 60 feet tall, held massive cedar beam ceilings, and staircases adorned with reliefs depicted delegations from across the empire bringing tribute. Egyptians, Greeks, and Indians were carved in exquisite detail, showing their distinct clothing and gifts. The Varzaneh Palace held 10,000 people. The throne hall, the hall of 100 columns, received subjects. Then Alexander arrived. In 330 BCE, he reduced it to ash. But the stone does not forget. Columns still stand. Reliefs remain sharp enough to count threads in carved clothing. Shiraz breathes poetry. This is the city of Hafez and Saadi, poets whose words shaped the Persian soul for 700 years. Gardens bloom with roses. The Aram Garden cypress trees tower above pools reflecting sky. Nasir al-Mulk Mosque, the Pink Mosque, transforms morning light into rainbows through stained glass, painting floors and walls in shifting colors. Hafez's tomb draws pilgrims who randomly open his collected poems, seeking guidance. They believe his verses answer questions unspoken. Nearby, nightingales sing in gardens at dusk. Their calls echo what Hafez wrote, that love and beauty transcend time, that gardens are glimpses of paradise. Tehran sprawls at the foot of the Alborz Mountains, a city of 9 million where ancient meets modern. And the Grand Bazaar stretches 10 kilometers through vaulted corridors where merchants have traded for centuries. Above, the Milad Tower pierces the sky at 1,427 feet, the 6th tallest tower in the world. The Azadi Tower stands at the city's western entrance, a white marble monument to Persian architecture. In the mountains above, ski resorts receive snow from November through May. Brown bears still roam the highest elevations. At dawn, the call to prayer echoes across rooftops as sun lights Damavand's distant peak. A city breathing between tradition and transformation. In Tehran's heart, Golestan Palace sprawls, a masterpiece of Qajar-era architecture. The marble throne, Takht-e-Marmar, is carved from yellow marble, supported by figures of demons and angels. The Hall of Mirrors features walls entirely covered in mirrors, chandeliers reflecting infinitely, creating illusions of endless space. The Peacock Throne Room displays opulence, precious stones, gold, intricate tile work covering every surface. Gardens surround buildings, pools, fountains, roses, orange trees. The Wind Tower, tallest in Tehran at 108 feet, captured breezes, cooling rooms below. This was power made visible, art and architecture declaring imperial majesty to all who entered. In central Iran's desert, Yazd rises, one of Earth's oldest continuously inhabited cities, inhabited for over 3,000 years. Mud brick architecture blends with landscape. Wind towers, badgers, catch breezes, channeling them into homes, creating natural air conditioning in 120-degree heat. The Atashkadeh Fire Temple houses an eternal flame, burning continuously since 470 CE behind glass. It flickers and dances, fed by sacred wood, blessed by Zoroastrian priests. Our pilgrims travel from across the globe to stand before it, a physical connection to ancestors 50 generations back. Nearby, towers of silence rise on hilltops where Zoroastrians once placed their dead, letting vultures consume flesh, returning the body to the sky. Before Persepolis, there was Pasargadae, the first capital of the Persian Empire, founded by Cyrus the Great in 546 BCE. At its heart stands Cyrus's tomb, simple, elegant, and timeless in design. 6 stone steps lead to a chamber where the conqueror who built one of history's greatest empires rested. When Alexander arrived, he ordered the tomb protected, honoring the king who showed mercy to defeated foes. Palace ruins reveal advanced engineering, water channels, gardens, and columned halls. Pasargadae introduced the Chogha Garden concept, dividing space into quadrants representing Paradise's 4 rivers. This design spread across the Islamic world, reaching India's Taj Mahal. A king's vision became the architectural language spoken for millennia. Six kilometers from Persepolis, sheer cliff faces rise vertically from the plain. Carved into limestone are 4 massive tombs, final resting places of Persian kings. Darius the Great, Xerxes, Artaxerxes, Darius II. Each tomb has a cross shape cut 60 feet into rock. Below, Sasanian reliefs show kings on horseback celebrating victories over Romans, carved 1,800 years ago. The Kabaye Zartosht, a square stone tower, stands before the cliffs, its purpose still debated. Temple, tomb, treasury. At dawn, light strikes the tombs directly, illuminating carvings 2,500 years old. Falcons nest in crevices above. Their cries echo across the plain where once stood an empire stretching from Egypt to India. In Khuzestan province, Chogha Zanbil rises from the surrounding plains, a 3,250-year-old ziggurat among the world's best preserved. Built by Elamite King Untash-Napirisha, dedicated to God in Shushinak. Originally 5 levels reaching 174 feet, a mountain built by human hands. Bricks bear cuneiform inscriptions. Water supply systems show advanced engineering. Underground tunnels, drainage channels, filtration. This was more than a temple. Palaces, shrines, and tombs surrounded the ziggurat. Baked bricks have survived millennia. Jackals den in shadowed corners at night. At sunset, the structure glows orange, appearing almost alive. A testament to ambition, carved in clay when Abraham walked the earth. The Tabriz Bazaar, UNESCO World Heritage Site, is among the world's oldest and largest covered bazaars. Built over 1,000 years in stages, it is a city within a city covering 7 square kilometers. And distinct sections specialize. Copper Bazaar, where hammers ring on metal. Shoe Bazaar. Gold Bazaar, glittering under lamps. Spice Bazaar, where saffron and cardamom perfume the air. Brick vaults create natural air conditioning through ingenious airflow. Bargaining is theater. Merchant names a price, customer laughs and offers half. Merchant clutches chest, proclaiming bankruptcy, Tea arrives, conversation shifts, and eventually a price emerges that both sides secretly accept. A commerce as an ancient social ritual, unchanged for centuries. In the desert between Tehran and Isfahan, Kashan blooms, an oasis city famous for silk carpets, rose water, and refined architecture. Traditional houses feature wind towers, underground chambers, courtyards with fountains. The Tabatabai house displays the wealth of 19th century merchants. Stained glass, casting colored light, elaborate stucco work, painted ceilings. In spring, and roses are harvested at dawn when fragrance is strongest, distilled into rose water used in cooking and perfumes. The Aga Bozorg Mosque descends into earth, a sunken courtyard, creating natural cooling. At its center, a fountain reflects vaulted ceilings. Blue tilework covers surfaces, cool even when desert air outside exceeds 110 degrees. Elegance born from necessity. At Kashan's edge, a Fin garden dates to the 16th century, among Iran's oldest surviving gardens. Turquoise pools reflect towering cypress trees. Fountains spray water that sparkles in relentless sunlight. Pomegranate and fig trees offer shade and fruit. Water arrives through qanats, underground channels, bringing it from mountains dozens of miles away without a single pump. In gardens, water becomes life, constantly moving, cooling air, feeding plants, creating sound that masks the desert's silence beyond the walls. The Persian rose, damask rose, has been cultivated here for 5,000 years. Each spring, villagers harvest petals at dawn, distilling them into attar, essential oil worth more than its weight in gold. Paradise maintained through ancient engineering. In the Alborz foothills, Mosul clings to a mountainside at 3,300 feet. Houses are built into steep slopes. The roof of each house becomes the yard of the house above it. Narrow alleys wind upward like a giant staircase. No cars can enter. Only foot traffic moves on ancient stones. Yellow ochre walls glow at sunset. Founded over 1,000 years ago, the architecture adapted perfectly to terrain. Fog rolls through streets most mornings, wrapping the village in mystery. Women in colorful scarves sell honey, herbs, handicrafts from doorways. Walnut trees shade courtyards. Water channels flow through narrow passages, fed by mountain springs. From above, Mosul resembles a living organism ascending the mountain, a village suspended between earth and cloud. At Mount Carcass's foot, Abyane spreads across a hillside, 2,000 years of continuous habitation. Houses are built from iron-rich red clay, giving the village its distinctive appearance. Women wear traditional dresses, long, colorful skirts, white scarves with floral patterns. They speak an ancient dialect, a Persian language variant predating modern Farsi by centuries. Narrow alleys wind between homes. Doors and windows feature intricate carved patterns passed down through generations. A Zoroastrian fire temple ruin stands on the hill above, evidence of pre-Islamic heritage. Spring water flows through channels built centuries ago. In autumn, pomegranate trees are heavy with crimson fruit dotting yards. Varzaneh is a living museum where traditions survived modernization by sheer isolation. High in the Alborz Mountains, Alamut Castle perches atop a rocky peak at 6,800 feet. Built in the 9th century, it became headquarters of the Nizari Ismailis, the legendary assassins. In 1090 CE, Hassani Sabah seized it, establishing a state that lasted 166 years and struck fear across the region. From here, highly trained assassins were dispatched to eliminate political targets with surgical precision. Marco Polo wrote of secret gardens where recruits experienced paradise before missions, though historians debate if this was real or legendary. Mongols destroyed the castle in 1256, burning its legendary library. Today, ruins crown the rock. The climb is steep, 2 hours ascending narrow paths. From the top, valleys spread in all directions. Eagles circle overhead. Mount Damavand commands the Alborz Range at 18,406 feet. A dormant volcano visible from 100 miles, its snow-covered summit iconic across Iran. Steam still rises from fumaroles near the crater, sulfuric breath from chambers deep within. In Persian mythology, the hero Feridun bound the tyrant Zahak here, chaining him beneath the mountain for eternity. His struggles cause earthquakes. Winter brings blizzards that drop visibility to nothing, avalanches that bury valleys, yet life endures. The Ural, wild sheep with curved horns, spiraling like calligraphy, navigate impossible slopes. Brown bears lumber through lower forests. Golden eagles hunt from thermals. By spring, wildflowers carpet meadows in impossible colors, crimson poppies, yellow buttercups, purple irises painting slopes that seemed lifeless months before. In the Persian Gulf, a Qeshm Island, the largest in the region, holds geological wonders. Stars Valley features canyons twisting through beige stone like abstract sculpture. Legend says a star fell here, shattering the rock. Geology says water and wind over millennia carved these passages. The Corbus Caves shelter bat colonies numbering thousands, Egyptian fruit bats and mouse-tailed bats hanging from ceilings. Walls drip with minerals, creating formations like frozen waterfalls. Ahara mangrove forests, rare saltwater forests, thrive along coasts, roots exposed at low tide, creating labyrinths. Herons stalk through channels, sea turtles nest on beaches, where sand temperature determines hatchling gender. Dolphins patrol offshore waters, hunting in coordinated packs, echolocation clicks echoing through dark waters. Hormuz Island glows with impossible colors. Soil ranges from deep red to bright yellow to purple to silver. Iron oxide, sulfur, and other minerals painting Earth like an artist's palette. Rainbow Valley displays bands of color in striations formed over millions of years. Portuguese fort ruins overlook the Strait of Hormuz, where 1/3 of the world's seaborne oil passes daily, 21 miles separating Iran from Oman. Beaches shimmer with crystalline sand ground from colored rocks. Cliffs erode into sculptures resembling giant hands, faces, animals, nature's abstract art. And local women collect colored soil for traditional paint making. The hawksbill turtle glides through offshore reefs, its beak-like mouth perfectly designed for prying sponges from crevices. Ancient and endangered, swimming in these waters for 100 million years. Dasht-e Lut stretches 200 miles across southeast Iran, the hottest place ever recorded on Earth. And satellite measurements documented ground temperatures of 159.3 degrees Fahrenheit. At those temperatures, exposed skin will burn on contact. The landscape is alien. Yardangs, massive sand formations carved by wind into parallel ridges, rise 250 feet high, looking like fleets of ships frozen in stone. Wind screams through them, creating sounds that ancient travelers believed were demons. The Kalauts region displays erosion as art. Sand castles sculpted over millennia, rising like abandoned cities with towers, walls, courtyards. Nothing lives in Lut's core. No bacteria, no insects. But at edges, the Persian Yazd emerges at night, its kidneys so efficient it extracts water from metabolic processes, never needing to drink. In northwest Iran, Lake Urmia, once the 6th largest saltwater lake on Earth, is vanishing. 50 years ago, it covered 2,000 square miles. Water 6 times saltier than the ocean created buoyancy that made swimming effortless. Flamingos arrived by millions, turning the lake pink with their bodies, now shrunk by 90%. Exposed lake beds became salt flats, stretching 40 square miles. Wind creates salt storms, carrying poison hundreds of miles, corroding buildings, poisoning farmland. Yet life adapts. The remaining water hosts Artemia, tiny brine shrimp surviving in salinity that kills almost anything else. Flamingos still arrive in smaller numbers, filtering 20 gallons daily through specialized beaks. White pelicans nest on exposed islands. Efforts to save the lake have begun. Water releases from dams, reduced irrigation, international agreements. Hamadan, ancient Ecbatana, was once the capital of the Median Empire. Here stands the mausoleum of Ibn Sina, now known in the West as Avicenna, the father of modern medicine. His Canon of Medicine was the standard medical textbook for 600 years, used from Baghdad to Paris. The modern tomb features a tower inspired by the Gonbadi Kavus, surrounded by gardens and a library housing medical manuscripts. Nearby, the Ganjnameh inscriptions, carved by Darius and Xerxes 2,500 years ago, mark the ancient road to Persepolis. At the city's edge, the Al-Asada cave system stretches miles underground, its chambers filled with crystal-clear water navigated by boat. Stalactites reflected in still water create Mirror 22. In Kermanshah, Taki Bostan displays some of Persia's finest rock reliefs. Carved into a cliff face, Sasanian kings from the 3rd to 7th centuries are depicted in elaborate detail. Hunting scenes showing kings on horseback pursuing boar and deer, in investiture scenes showing divine approval. The largest grotto features Khosrow II in full armor, his horse covered in ornate decorations with every chain link carefully carved. Musicians and attendants surround him. Above, winged angels grant blessings. A spring flows from the base, considered sacred, its water believed to have healing properties. Local legends say the carvings come alive at night, kings riding forth to patrol their lost empire. Modern Kermanshah spreads around these ancient stones, unable to match their grandeur. In Khuzestan, Shushtar's historical hydraulic system has managed water for 2,500 years, a UNESCO World Heritage Site showcasing engineering genius. Darius the Great initiated construction. The system diverts the Karun River through tunnels, distributes water via canals, powers watermills, and irrigates fields. The Shedvan Bridge Dam creates a man-made waterfall dropping through the city center, both functional and beautiful. Watermills powered grain grinding for centuries. Underground Qanat tunnels stretch for miles, built with gentle gradients to move water by gravity alone. Today, parts still function. Water rushes through channels carved into rock. Bridges span torrents. This was not just infrastructure, it was mastery over nature. It is transforming arid land into agricultural abundance through human ingenuity preserved across millennia. In the Sistan Desert, Shahr-e-Sukhteh, the burnt city, lies buried under sand. Founded around 3200 BCE, it thrived for 2,000 years before mysterious abandonment. Archaeologists discovered advanced urban planning, sophisticated drainage systems, and trade routes extending to Mesopotamia and the Indus Valley. Most remarkably, they found the world's oldest known animation, a 5-image sequence on a pottery goblet showing a goat leaping to eat from a tree. Also discovered, an artificial eye made from bitumen, the world's oldest known prosthetic. The city burned multiple times, hence its name. Why it was ultimately abandoned remains debated. Climate change, water depletion, shifting trade routes. A civilization that vanished, leaving only whispers buried in sand. At Susa, ancient Shush was inhabited for 6,000 years continuously, serving as capital of the Elamites, Persians, and others. Here, French archaeologists discovered the Code of Hammurabi, the world's oldest legal code, brought from Babylon as war booty. Daniel the prophet was buried here according to tradition. His tomb remains a pilgrimage site. The Apadana Palace, built by Darius, featured glazed brick friezes showing the immortals, elite Persian warriors. And the palace's discovery revealed treasures now in the Louvre. Susa sat at the crossroads of ancient trade routes. The royal road connecting Susa to Sardis enabled communication across the empire. Today, archaeological mounds rise above modern Shush, layers of civilizations stacked like pages in a book written across millennia. In Ardabil, and the Sheikh Safi al-Din Shrine Complex dates to the 16th century, a masterpiece of Islamic architecture and Sufi spirituality. Sheikh Safi founded the Safavid order here in the 13th century. His descendants later established the Safavid dynasty that ruled Iran for 200 years. The complex includes the Sheikh's tomb, a mosque, a library, cisterns, and courtyards. Blue and turquoise tilework covers surfaces. The octagonal Chini Kane porcelain house once held Chinese ceramics collected over centuries. Calligraphy bands the walls, Quranic verses and poetry in flowing script. Pilgrims circle the tomb 7 times counterclockwise, seeking blessings. At dawn, the call to prayer echoes across courtyards where mystics once debated the nature of divine love. Spirituality made architectural. In the southeast desert, Bam Citadel rises, the largest adobe structure on Earth. And built from mud bricks, clay, straw, and palm trunks, it dates to at least 500 BCE, possibly earlier. At its peak, 12,000 people lived within walls. The citadel contained everything: residential quarters, bazaar, mosque, stables, 67 watchtowers. Walls reached 60 feet high, 12 feet thick, protecting against invaders and desert. The 2003 earthquake devastated Bam, killing 26,000 and destroying 80% of the citadel. As reconstruction progressed slowly but steadily, today, restored sections stand beside ruins. Walking through is haunting. Empty streets where merchants once called prices. Towers where guards watched horizons. Quarters where families lived and loved, all silent now. A monument to both human achievement and nature's power. South of Tehran, Ray, ancient Rages, is among the world's oldest cities, inhabited for 8,000 years. Once a major city on the Silk Road, it rivaled Baghdad and Damascus. The Gebri Tower rises from rubble, a 12th century brick monument to architectural prowess, though its original purpose remains mysterious. Nearby, the Qeshm Ali, Ali's spring, has provided water since Neolithic times. Archaeological excavations revealed pottery dating to 6000 BCE. The tomb of Bibi Shah Banu, daughter of the last Sasanian emperor, draws pilgrims who believe prayers said here are especially heard. When Ray witnessed the rise and fall of empires, Medes, Persians, Seleucids, Parthians, Sasanians, Arabs, Mongols, each layer buried beneath modern Tehran's southern suburbs, waiting to reveal secrets. On the Persian Gulf's shore, Bandar Abbas serves as Iran's main southern port, gateway for trade between the Middle East and Asia. And the city swelters in summer, with temperatures exceeding 115 degrees Fahrenheit and humidity approaching 100%. Yet life thrives. The fish market opens before dawn, fishermen unloading catches of tuna, grouper, shrimp, lobster. Traditional wooden dhows, lenge boats, still ply the Gulf, using techniques unchanged for centuries. Dolphins accompany them, riding bow waves. Offshore, coral reefs host parrotfish, angelfish, sea turtles. The Portuguese fort ruins overlook the harbor, remnants of colonial ambitions. At night, the waterfront comes alive. Families stroll the Khaliji Fars promenade, watching the lights of oil tankers passing through the Strait of Hormuz. In Iran's far southeast, Chabahar sits on the Gulf of Oman, Iran's only oceanic port. The name means four springs in Balochi. Unlike the rest of Iran, Chabahar experiences monsoons. Its summer brings winds from the Indian Ocean carrying moisture. The coastline features dramatic rock formations carved by waves, natural arches, sea stacks, caves. Laipa Lagoon hosts flocks of flamingos, their pink bodies stark against blue water. Martian mountains, Qeshm Island, display layers of marl and sandstone in grays and browns, eroded into otherworldly formations that look like another planet. Crocodiles once inhabited nearby wetlands, their local extinction recently. Hawksbill and green sea turtles still nest on beaches. The ancient port of Tis nearby connected Persia to India 2,000 years ago. In the northeast, where the Alborz Mountains meet the Turkmen Steppe, Golestan National Park shelters biodiversity found nowhere else. Iran's oldest national park, established 1957. 3 ecosystems converge here: Caspian forests, mountain woodland, steppe grassland. The Persian leopard prowls oak woods, spotted coat, perfect camouflage. Brown bears dig for roots and insects. The goitered gazelle bounds across plains at 40 miles per hour, tan coat blending with dry grass. Bezoar ibex navigate cliff faces with supernatural balance. Golden eagles circle on thermals, scanning for prey. Grey wolves hunt in packs, their howls echoing through valleys at dusk. Wild boars root through underbrush. This is where species from different worlds meet, overlap, compete, and survive. A living laboratory of adaptation. In Gorgan, Gonbadi Kavus Tower pierces the sky at 236 feet, the tallest pure brick tower on Earth, built in 1006 CE. Qaboos ibn Voshmgir commissioned it as his tomb. Its conical roof, once glazed turquoise, visible for miles across the steppe. The interior is hollow. Legend says Qaboos's glass coffin was suspended inside by chains, visible through a window, and so his body would never touch earth. Invaders destroyed the coffin. The tower's foundation is so precise it has survived numerous major earthquakes. Two bands of Kufic calligraphy wrap the exterior, praising the patron. At certain times, the sun shines through the entrance, illuminating the hollow interior dramatically. A monument to one man's desire to reach toward eternity, still standing 1,000 years later. On Mount Bizotun's slopes in Kermanshah, a massive relief is carved 300 feet up a limestone cliff, commissioned by Darius the Great around 520 BCE. It depicts the king with his foot on a defeated rebel, 9 other rebels roped together before him. Text in 3 languages, Old Persian, Elamite, Babylonian cuneiform, describes Darius's victories after Cambyses II's death. This trilingual inscription became the key to deciphering cuneiform script, like Egypt's Rosetta Stone for Mesopotamian writing. A British officer, Henry Rawlinson, risked his life copying it in 1835 to 1847, climbing dangerous cliffs using rope ladders. Below, a sacred spring flows where Farhad allegedly dug, seeking Shirin's love, Persian, Romeo and Juliet. Darius chose this location deliberately, on the main trade route where thousands would witness his power. Near Zanjan, Sultaniye, dome rises, one of the largest brick domes ever constructed, a third tallest globally after Florence's Duomo and Istanbul's Hagia Sophia. Built in the early 1300s by Ilkhanid ruler Oljetu as his mausoleum. The dome spans 82 feet in diameter, reaches 165 feet high. Its double-shell design, 2 domes, one inside the other, influenced later Islamic architecture, including the Taj Mahal. 8 minarets originally surrounded it, taller than now, but damaged by earthquakes. The interior was once covered in gold leaf, lapis lazuli, precious tiles, most lost over centuries, but restoration reveals original magnificence. The engineering is extraordinary, built without modern tools, purely through mathematical precision and master craftsmanship. A dome challenging gravity itself, defying time through geometry. In northwestern Iran, Marageh was home to one of history's most important astronomical observatories, established by Nasir al-Din Tusi in 1259 CE. The Marageh Observatory produced astronomical tables more accurate than any before, advancing planetary motion theory later used by Copernicus. Though the observatory is ruined, 3 brick towers remain, astronomical instruments themselves used for measuring celestial angles. The Blue Tower, Gonbad-e-Kabud, displays exquisite brickwork and tilework. Nearby, the Red Tower, Gonbad-e-Sorkh, stands cylindrical and imposing. These towers were both tombs and symbols of scientific achievement. And Marrakech represented the height of Islamic Golden Age science, a time when scholars from across the world gathered here to measure the heavens and unlock cosmic mysteries. Sanandaj, capital of Kurdistan province, sits in a valley surrounded by mountains. This is the heart of Iranian Kurdish culture. Traditional Kurdish music fills the bazaar, melancholic melodies played on the tanbur and daf drum. The Abadar cave outside the city is among Iran's largest. Its chambers, decorated with stalactites and stalagmites, formed over millennia. Palangan village clings to mountainside like Masula, houses stacked vertically. In spring, mountains explode with wild flowers. Red poppies, yellow buttercups, carpeting slopes. The Kurdish Qashqai carpets woven here feature geometric patterns and bold colors. Women wear traditional dresses, layered skirts, embroidered blouses, colorful scarves. The cuisine centers on meat and bread, kebabs and tandoor-baked naan. For a city where mountains shape culture and where tradition survives globalization through sheer pride. In Lorestan province, Khorramabad hosts Falak ol-Aflak Castle, Castle of Heavens, perched on a hill overlooking the city. Built during the Sassanian era, possibly earlier, it has 12 towers and massive walls. The castle served military and residential purposes for over 1,800 years. Its position provided strategic control over the Zagros passes. Today, it houses an archaeology museum displaying Bronze Age artifacts, weapons, tools, pottery. The castle offers panoramic views of the city and surrounding mountains. In spring, the Kashkan River, flowing below, swells with snowmelt. Local law people maintain distinctive culture. Music played on unique instruments, traditional dance, colorful embroidered clothing. The castle watches over them, as it has for nearly 2 millennia, and enduring through empires and revolutions. In Khuzestan, Dezful straddles the Dez River, one of Iran's hottest cities where summer temperatures regularly exceed 120 degrees Fahrenheit. The city is famous for its bridges. The Dezful Bridge, Poli Dezful, dates to the Sasanian era, rebuilt multiple times but maintaining its ancient structure. Massive stone arches span the river, designed to withstand floods. Underneath are arched chambers once housed shops and provided refuge during summer heat. The bridge is both engineering and architecture. Traditional houses feature unique cooling systems, wind towers, thick walls, underground rooms. Some houses are partially underground, maintaining comfortable temperatures year-round without modern cooling. The Chogha archaeological site nearby reveals a settlement dating to 6,800 BCE, among Iran's oldest. Ancient and enduring, Desful survives through adaptation to extreme environments. On the Persian Gulf Coast, Siraf's ruins spread across the hillside. Once, the richest port city in the Islamic world during the 9th to 11th centuries. At its peak, 300,000 people lived here, trading with China, India, East Africa. Ships departed loaded with pearls, textiles, and spices, returning with silk, porcelain, and teak. Yet the Grand Mosque's remains show sophisticated architecture. Residential quarters reveal multi-story houses with elaborate plumbing. Then earthquakes and shifting trade routes cause decline. Today, excavations reveal its former glory. The modern village nearby hosts fishermen continuing traditions spanning millennia. Offshore, dolphins hunt in pods. Hawksbill turtles nest on beaches. Ancient anchors lie on the seabed, reminders of when Siraf connected the world, when fortunes were made on monsoon winds. As dawn breaks over Damavand, light spills across the plateau like liquid gold. In the Zagros, wild goats climb impossible slopes, hooves finding purchase where there seems to be none. In Hyrcanian forests, leopards watch from shadows, eyes reflecting first light. In deserts, gazelles are bound across salt flats where nothing should live but everything does. And fire still burns in temple hearths, flames tended for 1,500 years by priests who understand some lights must never die. Gardens still bloom where geometry meets beauty, where qanats bring water from mountains dozens of miles away. Bridges still span rivers, connecting not just shores, but centuries, footsteps of merchants, lovers, pilgrims worn into stone. And in bazaars, merchants still haggle over carpets and saffron. The continuing transactions their great-great-grandfathers conducted in the same vaulted corridors. This is Iran, where fire meets ice, where desert meets forest, where ancient meets eternal. It is a land that refuses to be just one thing, always contradicting, always surprising, always enduring. From Persepolis columns to nomadic tents, from eternal flames to vanishing lakes, from the hottest ground on earth to snow-capped peaks, this land contains multitudes. The planet breathes differently because of this place. Its mountains trap clouds. Its deserts teach survival. Its forests preserve antiquity measured not in centuries, but in epochs. And its people carry wisdom forged in extremes, knowing that beauty can bloom in the harshest places, that survival requires adaptation, that heritage carried in memory is worth more than gold, and that some fires The ones that matter most never die. Iran endures, not through conquest, but through persistence, and not by force, but by culture too deep to erase. And in its endurance is a lesson for all of us navigating a changing world. That what survives is not always the strongest or the loudest, but what adapts while remembering, what changes while staying true. The sun climbs higher, light floods across the plateau, and Iran breathes, just as it has for 7,000 years, just as it will for millennia more. The story continues, written in stone and sand, in poetry and gardens, in the footsteps of those who refuse to let their past die while embracing what comes next. Thanks for watching Passport Unfolded. If you enjoyed this journey through Iran, hit the subscribe button and tap the bell icon so you never miss our next adventure. We have so many more incredible places to explore together. Until next time, keep wandering, and remember, the world is waiting.